So when people say things that don't align with what you know about yourself, it's easy for you to always disregard whatever they say and keep it moving, because you know you're not talking to me. No, you are not talking to me. Hello, G Gang. Hello, all. Welcome to another exciting episode on the channel. My name is Gloria Obo, and I am a 16-year-old with 10 years experience. And today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you 16 things I have learned in my 16 years of existence with the 10 years experience. So just stay tuned. But before we dive into it, if this is your first time stopping by on the channel, I want to say a very, very big welcome to the channel. We're a family here, so don't forget to subscribe before you go, and also like. And I hope you really enjoy this video as much as I'm enjoying making it for you at the moment. So without further ado, let's dive into it. One of the first things I've learned in my 26 years of living on earth is being in your 20s is basically a series of you forgiving yourself over and over again. Yes, because you'll definitely make mistakes. Mistakes are really, really common, and it's just part of our existence. You make mistakes in career, life, family. Like, you will make mistakes, definitely. But the thing is, you don't just stay in your mistakes and beat yourself down every time. No, you just have to pick yourself up and just know that mistakes are a part of your existence. And once you make those mistakes, you look for ways to eventually correct them so it doesn't repeat itself again. And you learn all the lesson that period or that season or whatever the situation is that you're supposed to learn from, and it just gets better. So you're wiser now, you are smarter, and you know next time you know that you are not making the same mistake again. So yeah, that's it. Another lesson I've learned in my 26 years of existence is that strangers will support you faster than your friends will support you. Okay, hear me out. So when I say strangers will support you faster than your friends will support you, this basically translates to the fact that most times when probably you start a new business or you have this very brilliant idea and maybe you share with your friends or maybe even your family, there's this thing of, oh, they might question your credibility because they know you on a very personal level. So whenever my friend and I, we're actually having business related conversations and we like talk of strategies on how to launch maybe a new business we both have in mind or something, and she's always concerned or mentioned like maybe at several intervals of how maybe a certain person doesn't show interest in the business. One thing I always tell her is, in this world we have over 7 billion people in the world, and everybody you know put together in your life as an adult, they might not even be up to 1,000 people you know. Like, you might know even just 1,000 people on the surface level, then maybe you know like 300 or 200 intimately, or you know, the levels of maybe knowing people vary. Some people might just be acquaintances, some people colleagues, some people friends, some people church members, but let's say cumulatively you know like 1,000 people. Like, that 1,000 people is like a drop of water in the ocean of 7 billion people. So I always tell her that let's try to always target the people we don't know, and I'm really big on that. So when I'm starting a new business, I don't target the people I know, because I'm like, yes, in as much as they would most likely buy from me or patronize whatever service I'm rendering, it's better I target people that they don't know me. So for people to see you like off the internet and they deem it fit for them to like give you their money and, you know, patronize whatever you're selling to them, that speaks volume, and that tells you that you're doing something right. So don't be offended if maybe your family members are not supporting you, or you feel like, oh, they're not buying from me, my friends are not buying from me. Channel your energy to people like the other 7 billion people. Like, even in Nigeria we are like over 300 million people, so channel your energy to the over 300 million people that you do not know, and just leave the 1,000 people you know alone. So yeah, that's one thing I've learned. Your strangers will support you faster than your friends will support you. Another thing I've learned in my 26 years is to learn to stay in touch with yourself. When I say stay in touch with yourself, learn to talk to yourself nicely, learn to self-regulate, learn to self-soothe. So here is a perfect scenario. There are days where you would feel really down, really depressed, and you know that you just need somebody to like give you a compliment, tell you, oh, you look good, or tell you, oh, everything's going to be fine. The thing is, it is not every time you get somebody to say that to you. So the trick is learn to say nice things to yourself, learn to self-regulate your emotions. Just like babies, you know, if you carry babies, they like it like when they are like over your shoulder, like you pat them consistently and maybe they fall asleep from there, that kind of thing. So I would say as an adult, you're not too big to self-soothe. So if in maybe one instance you feel really down and you know that, oh, you need maybe a hug or somebody to hold your arm, you can always perform those gestures on yourself, because why not? So if it's by patting yourself on the back or rubbing your arm, something like this, like rubbing your arm, or just speaking to yourself nicely, it goes a really, really long way. And trust me, I've tested and tried this particular theory and it works for me. So on days where I feel like, oh, I really need somebody to talk to, or I need somebody to, like, oh, maybe tell you, oh, hug you and say, oh, don't worry, everything's going to be all right, learn to self-soothe. Talk to yourself, pat yourself on the back, pat yourself on your arm. Just do things that would generally make you feel better inside, as opposed to waiting for somebody to give you those compliments, or for somebody to hug you, or for somebody to hold your hands. Trust me, it works like magic. Another thing I've learned in my 26 years is to learn to show gratitude. This might seem really, really cliche, because everybody will say it, oh, be grateful, be this. But when you sit with your thoughts and you look back at where you are coming from and where you are currently and where you are going, you look back at your achievements, the goals you've been able to achieve, all the plans you've made that you've been able to bring to reality, it gives you a sense of fulfillment, and it also helps to reduce your stress level. When you're grateful for something, it helps you to feel complete. It doesn't feel like something is missing, because you know that, oh, definitely the fact that you've been able to achieve a couple of things, or you are in a place where you know that, oh, ideally you were not 5 years ago, you were not 2 years ago, it helps you to stay hopeful for the future and know that the same way you were able to overcome previous obstacles, you're still going to be able to overcome current obstacle or even future obstacles. So just learn to stay grateful and just appreciate the process, and you know, it's going to make you feel good overall. Another thing I've learned in my 26 years is to pay attention to actions and not words. Action shows you who a person really is, and their words just tell you what they want you to know about them. Yes, so I would rather say listen to somebody's action and see their words, in the sense that learn to read people's body language, learn to let people show you who they are. Don't just listen on the surface, or like surface level, because ideally people will tell you anything just to get away with anything, or get away with certain things, or keep you in the dark, or keep you ignorant of whatever they are doing that they do not want you to know. And a big lesson I think I've learned is that actions don't lie. So a person might say, oh, I value you, you're my friend, and they do not do anything that shows that they value you. And because they tell you, you are so blinded by what they tell you that you don't want to see what they are showing you. So one thing I would say is see what people show you. Don't listen to what they say. So it gives you more clarity, and you know how best to relate with people who are not being their true self with you. Another thing I've learned in my 26 years is no shally. When I say no shally, it means no shalaye. So shalaye literally means explaining yourself unnecessarily because you want people to perceive you in a very good light. So the thing is, you don't need to explain yourself to anybody, honestly. That's why you're not doing anything to hurt anybody, or you're not trying to cheat people, or I don't know, just be sneaky about people. You don't have to explain yourself. You're a grown adult, and I think for the fact that you're grown to a certain level, it means you should be able to take responsibility for your actions and be able to own up to actions like with your full chest. Don't care what people think about you, because you cannot really control anybody's perception of you. So instead of you struggling to earn their trust, it's better you struggle to earn their respect, because that goes a very, very long way. So it's better they respect you as opposed to, oh, they like you and they want to be your friend. So I would say don't explain yourself to anybody. Do the right thing, keep yourself in check, and keep it moving. That's just it. No shally. Okay, I think that should be your logo for 2020. I think that should be your slogan for 2024. No shally, aka no shalaye. All right. Another thing I've learned in my 26 years is intimacy is not about physical connection or sex. Yes, I said it. I know a lot of people always confuse both. So the thing is, you can actually have sexual relations with anybody, but at the end of the day, you always discover like, oh, you feel empty, like there is nothing there, like it's just, oh, okay, bodily works, and yes, there's still that void. It feels like there is a hole that needs to be filled. So that goes to tell you that sexual connections or sexual relations is not a form of intimacy. So basically, I would say it is very easy for us to claim we are intimate with people because, oh, we share maybe body contact. But no, I think for me, what I've learned is intimacy goes beyond that. I think the older you get, the more you learn that. What I find beautiful is people being able to share themselves, or maybe people that are in a relationship or friendships, they're able to share the core of themselves with each other. And this is basically like no judgment zone. Nobody's judging anybody. It's just two adults that, oh, they're able to bear themselves to each other, like explain, oh, what they're feeling insecure about, or what they're scared of, all their career fears, their life worries, and all that stuff. So I feel like that helps people to create a deeper sense of connection, as opposed to, oh, maybe just the surface level. And I think that's why a lot of marriages or relationships in society go bad nowadays, because people are not really like bearing their debts to their partners or whosoever they are with. They're just mostly, oh, okay, maybe we go out to eat, we do surface level stuff. So when the real life issues come, maybe a partner loses a job, or a partner cannot have a baby, or somebody cannot conceive, somebody has like maybe like serious life issues, that's why you see the relationship cannot really stand the test of time, because there is no depth. Like there is no depth. It has always been surface level of, oh, I love you by mouth, and never like deeply, truly of, oh, no matter what happens, I'm sticking with you, even though things go bad, I'm sticking with you. And this really stems from people not really being intimate, as opposed to they thinking they are, because, or maybe they live together, or they like do certain physical actions together. So yes, so for me, bear yourself to your partner, your friends, open up to people. And even after they are opening up to people, be wise, because I feel like people say, oh, I don't like opening up to people because they will use it against you. I just feel like you're just like in the wrong circle. So as an adult, if maybe you have friends that, oh, if you tell stuff, they use it against you, then what are you still doing there? You have to reevaluate your friendship circle, and know that, oh, this person is not your friend. Because true friends, true partners will never use your insecurities, or maybe really personal secrets you've told them against you. Anybody that does that to you was never ever your friend in the first place. So that's another thing I have learned in my 26 years. Another thing I've learned in my 26 years is to let friendships, relationships, situationships go. So basically, if a relationship or situationship or friendship does not serve you in this season of your life, because whether we like it or not, life is seasonal. Seasonal in the sense that the way you were 5 years ago is not the way you are now. The way you would be in the next 5 years is not the same way you are at the moment, honestly. So even though there's not like a significant change, there will still be like some level of change. And with that change comes new friendships, new life realities, and a lot of things will definitely change. So if you have a friendship that doesn't transition through all season, it's absolutely fine. Or a situationship or a relationship that doesn't like transition as you transition, it is absolutely fine, because like they say, 20 friends cannot play for 20 years, and it is absolutely fine. I know like a lot of friendship I've lost like over time. Maybe friendship I made when I was in the university, or friendships I made when I was working somewhere, or previous colleagues we used to be really close but we fell out. Like it is absolutely okay, and it's okay for you to still be in communication, or totally cut these people off. Not because you're a bad person, or you're an adult that don't know how to maintain healthy and solid relationships. No, the thing is, we transition the same way a snake would change its skin and molt. That's the same way human beings are. We would always change. We are never the same. We are fluid. So when you understand these facts, it will not be hard for you to let certain friendships go or relationships go. Not because, again, that you are not a responsible adult that can hold on to relationships. It's just because in the season of your life you are in at the moment, it doesn't correlate to where you are. So it's absolutely fine if you let a friendship go. For relationships, in this same sense, it's kind of very tricky, because I know people have had situations where, oh, they go back to their exes and they repeat the same circle over again, and eventually they end up breaking up, and they end up going back, and they end up breaking up, and they end up going back. Honestly, a relationship that has such dynamics, it is very easy for you to fall in the trap again of going and coming. And every time you go and come, the injury that is there, that you probably gone to the hospital to fix or sew up, you keep opening the same wound over and over again, and it is not healthy. It's just a waste of time, because honestly, people do not change. And I think that's one hard lesson I've also learned. People don't change. The only thing they'll tell you they've changed, or they'll tell you what you want to hear. That takes me to like one of the points I've mentioned before. They'll tell you what you want to hear. They'll behave the way they think you want them to behave for a certain period of time till they get you back, and once they get you back, they are back to their default setting, which is absolutely fine. But the thing is, what you will not do is going back to the same person over and over again to keep reliving the same circle you should have left. So pack up your bags and leave. It is hard, honestly. Whenever I say things like this, it's not a very straight line. It is very haphazard. Like you are in, you are out. Even though you want to leave, but it's really difficult sometimes. But the thing is, you just have to make up your mind, because if you don't make up your mind, you just be in that unending circle of back and forth, which is not healthy for your mind. It's going to take a toll on your life, maybe your career, your finances, or just things that would affect your day-to-day. So yeah, it is okay to learn friendships, relationships, situationships, whatever ship that is not sailing, that is sinking like the Titanic, let it go. If not, you're going to be like Jack and you're going to drown. Rather, be the rose and stay on the raft so you do not drown. Oh my God. Another thing I've learned in my 26 years is to own your narrative. Yes, own your narrative, because never forget who you are. Never ever forget who you are, because the world will not forget. The world will never forget who you are. And I think when you own your narrative and you wear who you are like an armor, nobody can take that away from you. Honestly, nobody can take, because you know who you are. So you're waiting for people to tell you. I've been in spaces where there are people that what they live for is to tear you down and make you doubt the essence of who you are. Because whether we like it or not, in as much as the more we live, the more we continue to unravel the depths of who we really are, there are people that their work on this earth is to make you question who you are every time. And it's absolutely fine. It is absolutely fine. They are there to do their job. So what you are going to do is own what you are. own it. And honestly, owning what you are is not room for you to be behaving badly. I'm not saying you should have bad behavior, or maybe you should just have certain characteristics that doesn't cut it at all. No, that's not what I'm saying. But situations where you know that people try to like question maybe your integrity, question your work ethics, question your professionalism, question the insight you have about certain situation, just question the knowledge you have, like generally. It is fine. Let them do their questioning, but not what you will not do is going back into your room or laying down in your quiet time and thinking of, oh, I don't think I'm good enough. Oh, I think I'm doing this wrong. Oh, I feel like my hand is broken. Oh, I feel like we're not going to do that. So you just have to own who you are. Honestly, once you own who you are, and it is again, I always say these things I'm saying are not things that you can get done in a day. It takes a while. It takes a while for you to master. So consciously try to master this thing. So that's another thing I've learned in my 26 years. Another thing I've learned in this 26 years of my existence is to learn to master my emotions. Yes, it's a very long, hard road, because people will upset you, people will piss you off, people would do things that would take you out of character. But rage is a thing that one must tame, because if we don't tame it, I think you live with the regrets more. And I will say this because I know how many times as an adult now that I've really raged out so much, and after all said and done, when like I'm back to being normal or in my quiet time, I'll be like, Gloria, I shouldn't have done this. So this was a bit too much, don't you think? And I know it is too much. So now imagine a situation whereby you feel like, you're upset somebody did something, and then you go back and you're like, oh wow, this was way overboard. But one thing I'm saying is, I'm not saying that you should be a sheep and be very docile and let people walk over you. I'm not saying that. One must learn to master like emotions, because they are fleeting, they come and go. Like emotions are fleeting, just like you love and you hate, you like and you dislike, those kind of stuff. So the same way rage and you're that tightening in your chest that you're feeling like, oh, I have to say this, if I don't say this I'm going to explode. It is hard. Honestly, we must learn to tame it, because the guilt that comes thereafter is even harder to manage. When you've raged out, or maybe when you lashed out at somebody, and when everything's all quiet and calm and you're like, oh no, I shouldn't have, oh no, that guilt, it weighs heavily on you. So I think before you rage out, like, in scenarios or situations, think of the aftermath. And if you know you can live with the aftermath of you raging out at any kind of situation, then you're all well and good. Because I think even rage sometimes is actually very, very healthy. Because imagine Jesus in the Bible. So if you're very familiar with Bible stories, there was a time Jesus went to the temple to pray, and when he got to the temple, he discovered that there were lots of people buying and selling in the temple, selling goats, sheep, and he was like, what's happening here? Why are you doing this in my father's house? Before anybody could say 1, 2, 3, Jesus already pulled out his belt and he was like whipping everybody, not like belts per se, but he was literally whipping everybody. And yeah, some scholars will say, that can be called holy anger. But then again, it was outraged because of how people were behaving in a place of worship. So like I said again, it is good for you to know when and how to channel your rage. Don't just rage at anything, but be very, very intentional about how you rage, and know that there are consequences for your actions. So if you know that, you can live with the actions, if you know that you can live with the consequences of you raging, then fine, rage on, but still do it wisely, okay? Another thing I've learned in my 26 years is how I show up for people. So when I say how I show up for people, so a few years ago, I would have been that friend that, I call you every day, I visit you from time to time, we are always hanging out, probably we are going to the club, we are partying, and we are doing all sorts of stuff. But right now, in this season of my life, the way I show up for my friends is actually very, very different. And honestly, I know this is what you are also thinking. Guess what? It is absolutely fine, because times change, seasons change, you change. You are not the same person. I will always say that, and learn to give yourself grace if you cannot show up for people the way you used to show up for them. Because at the end of the day, you have to look after yourself. You have to look after your well-being. And this is not you being selfish. I always say something. When you know who, or one of the best ways to know who you are is when you lay down at night, like you are alone with your thoughts. When everything is quiet, those few moments before you fall asleep, when you're alone with your thoughts and you're able to do that deep self-assessment. So it's like intimate moments we have with ourselves, and in that your very vulnerable state where you are very zen, a lot of things just becomes really glaring and clear to you that, this is it and this is not it. So it is absolutely fine. Show up for people the way you think you can show up for them. And that doesn't mean you have to be a bad friend or don't show up for people because, it is not convenient. No, go out of your way. But if you are not the day-to-day friend, it is absolutely fine. The thing is, I am not the day-to-day friend anymore. You can call me, you can text me. But one thing is, if you really, really, really need me, I'm going to show up. So I might not show up I might not be calling you every day or texting you every second. No. But if you really need me and I know that, yes, you need me, I'm going to show up, and I'm going to show up and show off. So that's the season of my life I'm in at the moment. So it is fine to not be the everyday friend, but show up for your friends when you really, really need to show. Honestly, me showing up or me not calling you every time does not really change the fact that I love you. I love you regardless. And this is me even saying it directly to all my friends now that they criticize me and say, oh, Gloria, you don't call us, you don't text us, oh, we are the one. Okay, Open apology. I'm sorry. I don't know if I should mention their names, but okay, all my friends, they know themselves and they watch the channel. So I'm sorry for all the times I've missed your call. I've not like called you, I'm not checked in. And you know that even though I don't call or I don't check in as much as I'm supposed to, when you need me, I always show up. You cannot deny that. So yeah, that's just it. So that's one of the things I've learned in my 26 years. Another thing I've learned in my 16 years with 10 years experience is to take care of your mental health as much as you take care of your physical well-being. So ideally, people tend to neglect how they feel up here and in here, and maybe prioritize how they look outside, how fit their body is on the outside. And honestly, that's a lot of reasons why we would see cases like people would maybe, for example, commit suicide, or maybe probably because they were depressed. And people will be like, but I saw this person yesterday. This person was looking all happy, looking nice. No, that's the thing. People tend to neglect how they feel inside and prioritize how they are outside. In as much as looking good is good business, feeling great outside is good business too. But you have to remove yourself from the mental cages you created in your mind that is keeping you captive. Honestly, we might not know, but most times we are basically prisoners of our mind, and this leads to a lot. It leads to you feeling inadequate, it leads to people feeling depressed. You start to question your self-worth. Like mentally, it takes a toll. And one thing I've learned is adulting takes a toll on the mind, because you're worrying, how do you pay your rent? How do you feed? How do you achieve your career? How do you excel at work? How do you get that promotion? It is a lot. But one thing is, you have to stay mindful, stay in the moment, learn to always prioritize your internal well-being as much as you prioritize the external one. You can either do this by exercising, eating good, sleeping right, even seeing a therapist if you can afford it. Well, this part of the world where I live in, people go into therapy, they think you're like cray, and it's quite expensive also. But if you can afford therapy, go see a therapist if you're like disturbed in the mind, or you really need somebody to talk to, and maybe you've exhausted all your options, or maybe friends, family, and whatnot. So take care of your mind as much as you take care of your body, because at the end of the day, it is the mind that fuels the body to move and act and dream and aspire. But if you're taking care of the body and you're taking care of the mind, eventually the mind dies, and when the mind dies, the body dies also. So that's one of the things I've learned in my 26 years. Another thing I've learned in my 26 years is do not read my lips, do not ever let your partner dictate who you're friends with. When I say your partner, probably your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your significant other. Do not let them ever dictate who you're friends with, because one thing I know is, as an adult, you have a sound mind, and a mind that is sound enough for you to make decisions and choose who your friends are. So people would do this thing where they would say, my husband does not want me to, my wife does not want me to. I was having a conversation with my friend Blessing like yesterday, and she was telling me about a former colleague that quitted her job because, quote unquote, her husband did not want her working there. Guess what? She's like back to square zero now, like broke. Like I think his job is not like all that, and he's literally struggling. So both of them are struggling, and she left a job because her husband said. And I think that's why I'm really big on the fact that you have a mind of your own. Like, for you to choose a friend, for you to choose a partner, for you to choose a job, you were intentional. You know what you are doing. Your mind is like functional. So you letting people make important decisions for you, like who you should be friends with, where you should work. It should be like you determining that based on your own ability to reason, not somebody's ability to reason for you and tell you what you can do and what you cannot do. I'm not saying people should not take advice from their partner. I'm not saying people should not lead or heed their partner's words. No. In as much as you are heeding your partner's words and you are learning, or you are listening to what they have to say, have a very discerning mind that you can make decisions on your own, and trust your ability to know that, if this person is my friend, I know what I'm doing, I make the right choice. And if eventually you get to realize that, this friendship does not serve me, and whatever my partner has been saying is true, then you can easily withdraw yourself. But don't just drop people and drop friends because, somebody says so, or your significant other says so. It doesn't make sense, because I think, looking back in time, from personal experience, a lot of relationships I've been in, they've ended, but the friends I've had over the years, they've stayed. And sadly, that's the truth. People that they've been married for years and eventually they get divorced, and the friends that they've had for years are the ones that still with them, and they still communicate every day and check on them. The thing is, it is very, very hard for like really solid friendships for you to like just like leave solid friendships like that. No. So that's why I would just tell anybody, like, if you're watching, please do not let your partner or your husband or your wife or your whatever determine who you're friends with, or like make important decisions in your life. You have a mind of your own. In as much as you will heed counsel, you would speak to people, to get clarity, but that does not mean, they tell you do A, you do A without questioning why you are doing it, or without you discerning in your mind why you should do A. So because don't forget, like I said, the friendships I've had over the years have lasted more than all the relationships I've had. The men, where are they? Nowhere. My friendships solid and 100. So yeah, learn from me. I don't know, whatever. Do with this advice whatever you chose is. I'm going to insert a video here so you get the joke. So that's it.
Go ahead, hit me, stab me, electrocute me. Go ahead and do me whatever you chose.
Another thing I've learned in my 16 years with 10 years of experience is it's okay. Honestly, it's absolutely okay to not know what you're doing in your 20s. Yeah, people would say, no, you should know. You should know. I think one of the main reasons why they would say young people nowadays are very depressed or they are sad and they're just like chasing things that they ought not to chase because they feel like they're in a race against time is they feel like they have to have everything figured out in their 20s. And I've listened to a lot of inspirational messages and I've read like books. I can't really pinpoint any at the moment, but I've listened to messages and I've listened to like a lot of motivational messages and people that they've been successful in their life. And one thing is a constant, they'll tell you enjoy the process, enjoy every single bit of the process. Like they'll say trust the process also, but don't just trust it, enjoy it, because don't forget that success is not universal. Like somebody's success time frame is not universal with your own, in the sense that there are people that make it in their 20s, there are people that make it in their 30s, there are people that make it in their 60s. I think, is it KFC or somebody? He didn't start KFC up on, I think the owner of KFC, he didn't start KFC up until like he was like 40 or 50, I think. You can look that up. So, and that's like a very successful franchise that is all over the world today. And I think for young people like me and you, people that were in our 20s, in our 30s, it's okay for you to not have like your dream job. Honestly, it's okay for you to not have your dream scholarship or for you to not have your dream relationship or marriage. It's okay. The thing is, just keep showing up. The goal is to just keep showing up, keep doing what you are doing. As far you don't stop doing what you are doing, as far you don't stop learning, if it's probably you're aiming for a better job, as far you don't stop learning to improve yourself, if you are trying to improve your skill, as far you don't stop learning, whatever you are doing, don't stop. Just keep doing it and keep doing it the right way. One day the scale will tip in your favor. And this is me even telling myself, I'm pumping myself up for this my YouTube channel. If at this point you are watching me and you're not subscribed, please subscribe so that this motivation I'm giving you, it would enter very, very well. Yes. So please subscribe to the channel if you watched up to this point. Thank you. But back to what I was saying. The thing is, I think the scale really tips, because I know like 3 years ago what the things I thought were like out of my reach that I couldn't achieve or I couldn't do, I'm literally living that reality now. And I know as far like what one thing that was a constant was because I never stopped like walking in the direction I wanted to go, in as much as the road was still very far very far ahead. And they'll say there's light at the end of the tunnel. Like I could see the tunnel, I could see the light, it was really far. But the thing is, the light, I could see the light, so I just kept following the light, even though I know that, oh yes, I have to walk maybe for years or for hours before I get there. But eventually I got there. And I think that's how I'm even living my life at the moment. I know that one thing is, I keep telling myself, Gloria, don't stop, just keep going. It is hard, yes, it is very, I know I always chip this in. All this thing I'm saying, this is not like, oh, I say it today, it happens tomorrow. No, it is a process. You have to understand that life is a process. It comes, it goes, it happens, it doesn't happen. It is absolutely fine, but just keep going, don't stop. As far as you don't stop, everything's going to like work in your favor, and the scales will definitely tip, no matter how one-sided it is. Once this other side gets filled up, it's going to tip. So just keep going. So the day the scale eventually tips, you'll be at the receiving end, to like reap all the bounty and all the goodness that comes with the scale being tipped. So yes, that's one other thing I've learned in my 26 years. Finally, one thing again I have learned in my 26 years is to have something supernatural you believe in. Okay, hear me out. I'm not trying to preach Christianity, because with my years of exposure and studying history, one thing I've come to understand is I respect everybody's religion. I don't care what you do, as far as you're not killing anybody. And I know, yes, Christians believe there's one true God. Muslims believe, oh yes, there's one true God. Buddhists believe, yes, oh, ours is the true God. Jewish people believe, oh yes, this is the right way to serve God. Everybody has their own perspective. But the thing is, the universal thing about all this religion is people that practice this religion have something supernatural they believe in. Do you understand? Me, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. And having something supernatural you believe in keeps you centered. It keeps you grounded, because trust me, there are days where you would have situations or challenges that defiles logic. Yes, there are days where you are in a really deep situation that no logic can get you out. No form of medicine. Let's say, okay, somebody has a terminal illness. No form of medicine can get you out. Like, probably you are really hoping and praying something works for you, even though you're not qualified. That in your mind you're not qualified. But when I was in school, one of my lecturers used to say, oh, you're praying for merited favors. So yes, when there are days when you're praying for things that you don't qualify for, you are asking your supernatural being or whosoever you believe in for that thing to happen to you, even though you are not worthy. But then again, when you have something you believe in and you have a supernatural being who you believe sees all, knows all, and he will answer all your prayers and supplications, it helps you to have hope for the future. Honestly, for me as a Christian, I know how many times I've been in really serious situations that I couldn't save myself from. But all I just need to say is, oh God, please help me. Oh God, help me solve this. Oh God, if this is your will, let it happen. God, if this is not your will, don't let it happen. And trust me, it works like magic. There's always like an answer for every unanswered question. It comes like there's a way the universe just works. So most people say, oh, it is the universe listening to what I've said, but no, for me, I believe strongly that it is God. Like there's a way God comes through for you, that it shows up for you, that you know that it cannot be me, it cannot be my own doing. It is just the power of God. So it keeps this, knowing this actually keeps me grounded, keeps me centered, that because trust me, you cannot do this life alone. You cannot do this life alone, no matter who you are, what you know. You cannot do this life alone. You need something to keep you going. You need the supernatural that gives you hope that, oh, there's a better tomorrow, that yes, everything is going to be all right, things are going to fall into place, you're going to have that money, you're going to have that dream job, you're going to have that child, you're going to have that car. Like, just believe in something strong, so strongly that it has powers to work for you and like just show up for you in your time of need. So that's just all I'm going to say. Like I said again, be you a Christian, a Muslim, a Buddhist, you are Jewish, you practice Hinduism, anything you practice, just believe in a supernatural. So guys, that is all the lessons I have for you in my 16 years of existence with a 10 years work experience. So if you watched the video up to this moment, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And please do not forget to like, subscribe and share. And please subscribe. Like really, I really need subscriptions. Please subscribe, because the goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and for this channel to be monetized, so all my hard work doesn't go down the drain. So please, if you get to this point, please kindly subscribe. Thank you, and God bless you. And I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.